All right, so I did change this look up. Yeah, I did. I like this much better. So this is, I did a black shadow wing, still smoked out and pulled out into a cat eye, still have that lifted eye effect, but I just changed the shimmer to an all matte look. And so this was the look that I was originally going for, but then I wanted to use those hardwired shadows, so that is what I did, but I changed it back. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a tutorial on this eye look right here, and originally I was going to do this as an all matte look, but then I decided to go ahead and give the hardwired shades, sparkly shimmery shades in this palette a try. So the look today is from the NARS Make Up Your Mind Face and Eye palette, which looks like this. This retails for $49. It is exclusive to Ulta. I got it for $39 because I had a $10 off coupon. I think it was about a week and a half ago. So about this palette, you get the iconic Laguna bronzer, you get 3 blushes. This is their cult favorite, the Orgasm blush. This one is the Dolce Vita, and this is a sheer apricot blush called Luster. You get 8 eyeshadows with a variety of formulas. You got some mattes, you've got some satin formulas, and then you got these 2, which are their hardwired formula. The jury is still out on what I do think about the hardwired formula, but I will say I did not use glitter glue and I'm not having any fallout. I did use a shadow base primer, which you guys will see in the tutorial, but this time when I played with these shadows, I did not use the glitter primer adhesive, but still I have no fallout from them. But if you don't use a glitter primer, I'm just saying you will have fallout with these 2 shades. Let's see what else. This shade, and I believe this one is in the Ignited palette because I have several of their palettes, and I do want to grab, all right, sorry, I needed to grab this palette right here. So this is the Skin Deep, and this is the Make Up Your Mind. So you can kind of see the size difference. You can see that this one is, you know, obviously much larger than their normal size palettes. The packaging on this is really cool. This was the packaging, and then it came with this smoky sleeve. So the packaging I thought was really, really cool, and you just can't beat the price. I mean, even for $49, this is just a great value, especially if you travel. So many things. So I actually love it. This is the look that I created. I wanted to, like I said, do a matte look, but this is what came out, and I guess I'm not even mad at it. I do love it. I love how it came out. All right, so let's stop rambling and get into this tutorial. And if you guys are new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell right next to it so YouTube will notify you of all of my uploads. And if you are new, welcome to the video. Welcome to my channel. My name is Lauren Jade. I'm 57. I have mature, crepey, wrinkly skin with hooded eyes that are slightly downturned. So I am always on the beat looking for ways to kind of cheat the system, if you will. So you guys will see that I do things a little bit differently on my channel, but I don't want to ramble on anymore, so we can just get into the tutorial. So yeah, hit the notification bell. YouTube will notify you of all of my future uploads, and please subscribe. And that is it. Let's get into this tutorial. I have already went ahead, I primed my eyes using MAC's Paint Pot here in Soft Ochre, and now I am going to do a little bit of baking underneath my under eye area just to kind of set this area, and I am going to be setting this primer with a shadow. I'm going to be kind of kicking it P. Louise style today, which, by the way, I can't wait for my order to arrive all the way from the UK. I remember when I ordered Zoeva, the first brush set that I ordered last year, and it came from Germany. I was like waiting and waiting, and it was so exciting to get like an international package. All right, so now I'm gonna dip into the Make Up Your Mind Face and Eye palette. Love that it opens flat like a book. I love that. So the first shade I'm gonna take is, I'm gonna use a C Crown. This is just a really fat shader brush, and I'm gonna take this Hammett. I'm not even trying to pronounce it. This shade right here, this one is in my Ignited palette as well. And I'm just going to set the primer. I'm just going to tap this on every place where I know I'm going to be putting shadows. I'm not going to put it out here. It's a very skin tone friendly shade, but I like kind of a bone shade like out here, so I'm just going to tap this. So I did this look, I guess, one day last week for my Instagram, and I posted a promo clip. If you guys follow me on there, you've probably seen it. And I was going to post it. The look came out really, really good. It was a beautiful bronzy, golden, really kind of a soft, smoky look. But it was just too dark for me. I just really wasn't happy with it. So I am refilming it today. Yeah, I was going to go with it because it looked good. And then I was like, no, I can't do this. So once I get this kind of nice and set here, I'm going to go in with just a fluffy brush here and just kind of whisk away the edges of that. All right, I'm going to go back into this shade right here. This is what I use to set my base. I'm going to take a Smith 232. This is kind of a larger fluffy brush, and I'm going to take this right into the socket. So kind of like right into the socket, and then I'm going to take it to the inner corner. So I'm just kind of getting a nice wash of color. All right, I'm just getting a nice light wash of color with this Smith 232. I'm going to switch to a 230. I'm going to pick up a little bit more of that same shade because I really want to kind of build it up. This is going to be a little bit easier for me to define the shape and really kind of get into the socket and work because it is a little bit of a smaller brush. So even though I like the other brush for a nice light wash of color, when I really want to get in there and define the socket and really define that shape, I need a little smaller brush. I am just buffing out the edges, and I'm going to grab this cream color shade here from the Sephora I Love palette. Sometimes I use a bone colored shade, and I'm just going to whisk that out here. I just love my bone color shades for this purpose. And these bone color shades in general just kind of act as little magic erasers. So if you get your shade out of alignment, or if it gets up too high, you can easily just tap and press down, which is what I like to do, and then you can kind of get the edges of that shade, and it'll just kind of all mesh seamlessly, so you can get that really nice, flawless airbrushed finish that we are all after. All right, I'm going to stick with the same brush, and I'm going to go into the Laguna bronzer here so I can bronze up my crease. I kind of want the same effect, so I'm sticking with the same brush, and I'm just going to do the exact same thing that I did with the previous shade, just kind of really kind of warm up and bronze up this socket here. Start to kind of get that shape in there. Really just focus on building the shape right through the socket. I like that inner corner shading. It just gives me that really nice sultry fade. And once I get the shape kind of molded out, I'm just going to whisk anything away out here into the abyss. All right, I'm going to do my smoky wing before I deepen up my crease. You guys know that I like to create my fake crease right around this time to get some depth and dimension and kind of give this hooded eye some structure. but I also like to skip around. So I am going to do the wing first, and then I'm going to go back in and deepen up the crease just slightly, because I really want the focus of this look to be really soft and natural up through the crease. So really kind of like a soft socket crease look with a more smoky wing, because that's where I kind of want the attention for this look. So I'm going to grab this brown shade right here, and I'm using a Sigma E30 pencil brush, and I'm going to start my smoky wing. Just gonna kind of start to map it out. I always go a little thinner on the inner corner. This shade though is really beautiful on blue eyes. It's just very flattering, and you guys will see that as I start to add a little bit of this shade. Take it a little bit thinner on the inner corner, and I'm just going to smoke it up a little bit. You guys know I like that little soft smoke on my wing, so I'm just going to do that, and I am going to tie this into the lower lash line smoke when I get to the point where I'm adding my other color. Because I don't want to take this shade too far into the crease, and I'm definitely not putting any darker purple up there. I'm going to be using those on my liner. So I'm making this kind of this little smoky section here just a little bit thicker. I know, I'm a scaredy cat. I don't want any dark colors into my crease. I can't do it, I can't. I'm also going to pull this out a little bit into a cat eye, just a little bit, and then I'm just gonna kind of stamp down here on the bottom so it kind of connects, and start the lower lash line smoke. I'm going to switch brushes here in a second so I can add some depth to the root of the lash line. All right, I'm going to use this Urban Decay. This is the Glide On eye pencil in the shade Delinquent. It does have a purple, kind of a sparkle to it, and I think it would be really great for this look. So I'm just going to put this along the root of the lash line and just kind of wiggle it in between the lashes. And I am going to be smoking this out, so it does not have to be perfect. I'm not trying to draw a perfect line. I'm just getting some color here so that I have some depth. And this does not have to be perfect because we are going to be smudging and smoking this out. The whole purpose for this is just to give some longevity to the shadow wing. It just makes it last longer. All right, I'm going to switch to a flat to finer brush now. I'm going to take my Makeup Forever one. I'm going to go into this purpley shade here. And by the way, I did not take this. I tried to stop this a few millimeters before the end because my eyes are slightly downturned, and I am going to be pulling this out into a cat eye, but I think I got a little out here, so I'm just trying to remove this best I can. So I'm going to take this purpley shade on the flat to finer brush, and I'm going to do what I always do, which is make my little shadow wing. I'm just stamping the root here, and I'm just kind of wiggling this. I'm going to put that purple on my lower lash line. And then I'm going to smoke the brown shade right underneath it. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but when I do these little smoky shadow wings, I don't really put any actual shadow, extra shadow on the brush or out here. I just kind of pull what is already either on the brush or towards the end, and I just pull that out into that cat eye shape. And then I like to just kind of stamp and bring it down here. I just feel like I get a more precise wing that way, and it just kind of keeps everything not only elongated but also lifted up, because I like that lifted eye effect. When your eyes are slightly downturned, it just gives the illusion that they're not so downturned. I don't know if I mentioned this at the beginning of the video, but on my under eye, I'm using a mixture of the Ben Nye banana powder with the RCMA white translucent powder. I kind of mix them together, kind of create my own little concoction. All right, I'm going to start to kind of map out my fake crease now and put some depth in, but only ever so slightly, because I really want to keep this look very, very soft. So I'm going to take a tiny bit of this shade mixed with a little bit of this. I'm going to use this as a blending tool shade. So it's going to kind of help to blend out that dark, because I really don't want much. I'm just going to pat a little bit out here on the outer lid. And working right into the socket. I'm trying to stay on the outer, this outer section right here, because I really don't want to add any, I don't want the dark to overtake the look, is what I'm really trying to say, because it can happen really quickly. So I'm kind of staying out here, and then I'm just kind of slowly, kind of really lightly, just kind of feathering this over. I want to only darken it up a tiny bit. So that's why I'm not, you know, getting in there and swashbuckling all this color around, because I don't want it to go all over the place. I want to keep it nice and tight right above my natural crease, and just kind of slowly work this into the socket. I'm basically right underneath my socket bone, so kind of right in the hollow of the eye. I'm just wanting to bring this in ever so slightly. If I screw this look up, I'll be so mad at myself. So I really want to keep everything nice and soft. And trust me, I got a heavy hand. I could do it in a heartbeat. All right, I switched to the Sigma E36 now, which is literally one of my favorite blending brushes for small eyes and for hooded eyes, which will be featured in my video. And I'm keeping the majority of this darker shade on the outer section right here, so kind of like in the outer third of the lid. And then I'm just dragging a tiny bit over to the inner corner. I don't want too much, just a little bit. And it's a very, very hard, because I have a very heavy hand. So I really wanted to switch to the smaller brush so that I wouldn't end up blowing that darker color all over the place. All right, so I'm switching back to the 232. I'm going to take a little bit more of this lighter shade, and I'm just going to go over everything. What direction I'm gonna go. I do want to use this just to kind of show you guys how it works, but I want to keep the inner corner really bright, so I kind of mapped out the lid space using this shade right here, which is kind of a shimmery. You can see it just doesn't give too much of a pop, but I actually just love how this looks. Like, I would completely, totally 100% stop here, and I just may, but I do want to show you guys how this hardwired shadow kind of works, because it is a little bit of a different formula. I'm going to take my Sigma. Normally I use my NYX shadow base in white to amplify, but I'm going to use the Sigma. This is the base and primer in the shade Bubbly, and I call it a base and a primer because that's kind of what it is. It just adds a sheen and a shimmer, so I'm going to just put this directly on here, kind of brighten that up a little bit. And I'm only taking this about halfway. All right, well, I guess I can't be a chicken shit all my life. I'm gonna try to apply each of these. I'm gonna try this, even though I really don't want to, and I haven't touched it at all, so I don't even know what to expect with this one. This one I've played in. So I'm gonna take, I think, this on the lid, and I may put this like kind of like in the center, or maybe like a little bit in the corner, I'm not sure. But I'm gonna try it both with my finger now on top of this base primer, and then I'm gonna try with a brush. You can see that you just don't get a whole lot. It's a very light, almost like a fairy dust. I'm gonna switch to a clean finger here. All right, so I'm getting a little something to show up here. All right, let me see what happens with this other one. Yeah, this other one's a little bit more of a crumbly mess. Yeah, it's nice, but... All right, I think what I'm gonna do... I really spent some good time on my blending and what I've got going on in the crease. I really don't want to muck this up. Just being honest here. All right, I need to grab a Kleenex here. All right, I think what I'm gonna do is, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna grab, all right, no, I don't know. I'm not sure. Hold on a second here. I gotta catch I need to think. All right, so I mixed these two together, actually. I put the gold in the front, and then I smoothed a little bit of the purple shade in the middle. And I did spritz this brush with MAC Fix Plus because I needed to be able to mold this shape, and my little fat fingers are just not cutting the mustard over here. So I guess the buzz phrase of the moment is, I'm not mad at it. You know, it's not exactly the look that I was going for, but I really wanted to try out both of these hardwired shades. And that is what I did. I mean, it is beautiful. All right, I'm just kind of cleaning up the border, which is what I call it. It's the area where the shimmer meets the matte. And I just like to kind of dust away and just kind of make sure that this little line right here is just nice and smooth. Sometimes it gets kind of jaggedy, and it just also kind of dusts away any little shimmery particles. All right, so I like this. I'm happy with this. I can work with this. I'm not even mad at it. I guess that's the buzz phrase of the moment. I'm gonna just touch up now underneath my lower lash line. I'm gonna wipe away this powder, and then I'm gonna touch up my face with these products here. I'm going to use these now, all of these face products. I'm gonna use the Laguna bronzer. I'm gonna use a little bit of the Dolce Vita with the Orgasm blush as a topper. I am touching up with the Laguna bronzer here. This dual fiber powder brush from Sigma, the F15. I'm going to grab a little bit of Dolce Vita and a little bit of the Orgasm blush here. And I like this dual fiber powder brush because I can just kind of stipple. And you guys know I am not a apples of the cheek blush person. I like to put a little bit on there, but then I like to swish it out towards the temple. It's very lightly. I have never been an apples of the cheek blush person. All right, that gives me a really beautiful glow, I will say. I really do love this palette. All right. I really was going to keep this not shimmery. I was going to just kind of do a matte look, but I love how this came out, so this is what we're working with. I'm going to just grab a highlighter and spray my face. All right, I'm gonna grab just a tiny bit of this Ultra highlighter in the shade Beverly Hills. I think I'm gonna take the peachy and the bronzy shade. I'm just gonna put a tiny bit. This gives such a sheen, but I grabbed just like a tiny bit. I don't know if you can see just like how it's popping, but these Ultra highlighters, just like I've always said with Cookie and Tickle, they did not come to play. All right, guys, that completes the look with the NARS Make Up Your Mind Face and Eye palette. I love how it came out. I think it's a beautiful look, and I wanted to keep this really light. I didn't want a very heavy crease. I wanted the focus to be on the winged liner and on the shimmer.